Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play a song called Mean Girls by Rachel Crow. And we're going to end up capoing this on 4th fret to match the recording, but we're going to start out on a C major chord. When we play C major, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the D string on the 2nd fret, and third finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord. It sounds really happy. Now another C major you may want to think about through the song though is something called C major 9. When we play C major 9, first finger goes to the D on the 2nd fret, second finger on the A on the 3rd fret, third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret, and the pinky on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major 9. It sounds really happy. And then from the C, we're going to be going to a G major chord. When we play G major, first finger goes to the A on the 2nd fret, second finger goes to the low E string on the 3rd fret, and third finger goes to the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord. Now another G major you may want to think about through the song though is doing first finger on the A string second finger on the low E string third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret, and the pinky on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the G, we're going to be going to a D major chord. When we play D major, first finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, second finger goes to the high E string on the 2nd fret, and third finger goes to the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, then that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now on most of the D chords through the song though, there's just kind of an F sharp note in the bass. And so another way to play your Ds is to using something called D slash F sharp. And the way you play D slash F sharp, first finger goes to the low E string on the 2nd fret, second finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, and third finger goes to the high E string on the 2nd fret, and then the pinky goes to the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds something called a D slash F sharp. Another way to play that chord is to do a regular D major and then take your thumb and go over the low E string on the 2nd fret. That's another way to play D slash F sharp. Another possibility is something called D sus slash F sharp, where you do your first finger on the low E string 2nd fret, second finger on the G string 2nd fret, third finger on the B string 3rd fret, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds something called D sus slash F sharp. And then from the D, we're going to be going to an E minor chord. When we play E minor, first finger goes to the A string on the 2nd fret, second finger goes to the D string on the 2nd fret, third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret, and the pinky on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, then that sounds like E minor 7. Or you could just kind of scale that down and do regular E minor with first finger on the A string, second finger on the D string. So you might want to think about using those for your E minor. The cool thing about keeping that 3rd and 4th finger down though is that way you can kind of hold on to those fingers through the song, even to the D slash F sharp or D sus slash F sharp E minor 7. So that might be kind of a cool way to kind of do it. Now in the intro though, it almost sounds like we do little what are called arpeggios of those chords. So you may want to take the C chord and you can kind of play the A string and then the G string and then the high E and B together. And then you could go to the G string and play the low E string and the G string and then the high E and B together. And then you could go to the D slash F sharp and kind of do low E, G string, and then high E and B together. And then E minor with the low E and then G string and then B and E together. And what we're really kind of doing with that is kind of a bass, G string, E and B together kind of idea. So you may want to kind of think about that through this song, especially on the verses. That could be a very, very cool way to kind of work it. Now a lot of times with a song like this though, to make it more interesting, I like adding something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the C and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up. So one way to work the verse actually is to kind of have that strum pattern between your chords. So you could do your C with kind of a down, up, and you go to the G for a up, down, up, D with a down, down, up, E minor, up, C, down, down, up, G, up, D, down, down, up, E minor, up, down, C, down, up, G, up, down, D, down, up, E minor, up, down, up. Now another strum pattern that may work too is to do kind of a down, down, up on each chord. So you can do C with kind of down, up, G, down, D, down, up, E minor, down, C, down, up, G, down, D slash F sharp, E minor. Or what could feel really good is to do kind of a down and then a down, down up on each chord. Down, D slash F sharp, E minor, C with a down, G, down, D, down, E minor, down, E minor, down. Now on that intro intro though, it's kind of working with bass notes too, and another thing you could do is kind of add in bass notes. So if you're doing the down, down, up, down, up, you could throw in a bass note for the chord on that very first down. So C with an A bass, down, up, down, C with an A bass, down, up, down. And on your G chord, you'd have the low E string for your bass. On the D chord, you'd have the D for your bass. On the D/F sharp, you'd have the low E string for your bass. And the E minor would have the low E string for your bass. So you could kind of work it that way too. It's kind of a C with an A bass, down, up, G, up, down, D with a D bass, down, up, E minor, up, down, C with an A bass, down, up, G, up, down, D/F sharp, down, E minor, up, down, up. Or you could work it as kind of a bass down up on each chord through that part too. So you want to kind of experiment with that. Or you could kind of do a bass and then a down, down up on each chord. It would sound very different too. Down, down, E minor, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, G with a low bass, down, down, D/F sharp, down, down, E minor, bass, down, down. And then the last time through our verse, we kind of do a C and then a G. And then we do kind of a big stop time on the D chord, and actually that kind of comes back. Now the rest of our song is kind of little variations of kind of that chord progression until we get to our bridge part. And on our bridge part, we start on the E minor, and then we go to D, and then we go to G, but then we go to an A minor chord. When we play A minor, first finger goes to the B string on the first fret, second finger on the D string on the second fret, and third finger on the G string on the second fret. If you strum all those together, that sounds an A minor chord, and it sounds really sad. Now you may want to also think about substituting something called A7 sus, where you do first finger on the D string second, second on the G string second, third finger on the B string third, pinky on the high E string third, and then that way you could kind of leave the 3 and the 4 actually through the whole tune. You could kind of work that E minor to D to G to A7 sus and kind of just work that voicing. And then on that part, we could be using a lot of those same strum patterns actually through the song. Now the weird part is to play along with Rachel Crow, instead of starting on a C major, she's actually starting on an E major chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and if you put the capo on 4th fret, now your C is really an E major, your G is really a B major chord, your D major is really an F sharp major chord, and your E minor is really a G sharp minor chord. And when we get to the A minor, it's really a C sharp minor. Take it from the very, very beginning, you could kind of work that down, down, up, down, up, and kind of half it. D down, down, up, E minor, up, down, C down, down, G up, down, D down, down, up, E minor, up, down. Or you could add basses, C bass down, up, G up, down, D Louis bass down, up, E minor, up, down, C with an A bass down, up, G up, down, D/F sharp, E minor. Or you could work kind of that bass down up idea. D/F sharp, F sharp, down, E minor, or you can work kind of that down, down, down up on each chord, down, down, D/F sharp, E minor, or we could work it as kind of a bass, down, down up idea through each chord. There's a lot of different ways you could kind of work it. And then on the last time through, we got kind of a C, G, and then kind of a big D. And then from there, then we go into our pre-chorus part. And our pre-chorus starts on E minor, goes to C, the G, and then D. And then we end up doing that twice, then kind of ending it on a C and a G, and then an E minor, and then a D. So if we tried that with kind of our bass down up on each one, we'd have E minor the bass, down to C with an A bass, down to G with low E bass, down to D with a D bass, down to E minor with low E bass, down to C with an A bass, down to G with low E bass, down to D/F sharp, C with an A bass, down to low E bass, down to E minor with low E bass, down to D/F sharp. Or if we did that with kind of our bass down, down, up, we'd have E minor bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, D/F sharp, E minor, C, G, D/F sharp, C, G, E minor, D/F sharp. And then we'd be going into our chorus part. So we tried our bass down up through our chorus. We'd have C with an A bass, down, G with low E bass, down, D with a D bass, down, E minor low E bass, down, C with an A bass, down, G with low E bass, down, D with a D bass, down, E minor low E bass, down, C with an A bass, down, G with low E bass, down, kind of a big D. Or if we tried our bass down, down, up, we'd have C with the bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, G with a D bass, down, down, E minor low E bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, D, E minor, C, from there, then we'd be going back into our verse. And if you wanted to, you could even kind of take those arpeggio ideas that we were talking about earlier and kind of make that kind of a big thing too, kind of working the intro licks actually through the song could be a very, very cool thing. And you could even kind of take that idea and then work it through other parts of the song if you're kind of digging on that. And then right at the very end of that, then we kind of end up back on kind of a C major and a G major. And if we were strumming, actually, we could almost kind of get a whole strum pattern in there. So we'd have the C with kind of a bass, down, G with low E bass, down, D with the bass, down, up, down, up, very, very end of our verse. Or we could work that with kind of our bass down, down, up, and kind of do the D with kind of two of those. D with the bass, down, down, D with the bass, down, down, up. And then from there, then we'd be going into our pre-chorus. So if we kept that going with kind of that bass down, down, up, we'd have E minor with low E bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, D with the B bass, down, down, E minor, C, G, D, C, G, E minor, D. And then from there, then we'd be going back into our chorus part. So we're back to kind of the C, G, D, minor, C, G, D, minor. And then from there, then we'd be going back into our bridge part. So we tried the bridge with kind of a bass down up. The weird part is there's one part actually at the end where we do kind of a G, and then an A minor, and then we go to something called G/B, which is kind of a G chord, but with an A string for your bass note. So you want to kind of bring out the A bass. And then we go to a C, and then we end up with kind of a big hit on D at the end. So we tried that with a bass down up on each one. We have E minor with the bass, down up G with the D bass, down up G with low E bass, down up A minor with an A bass, down up E minor with low E bass, down up D with the B bass, down up G with low E bass, down up A minor with an A bass, down up E minor with low E bass, down up D with the B bass, down up G with low E bass, down up A minor with an A bass, down up G/B, C with an A bass, and then a big D. Or if we tried that with our bass down, down, up, we'd have E minor with the bass, down, down, D with the B bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, A minor with an A bass, down, down, E minor with low E bass, down, down, D with the B bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, A minor with an A bass, down, down, E minor with low E bass, down, down, D with the D bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, A minor with an A bass, down, G/B, C with an A bass, big D. And then from there, they would be going back into our pre-chorus part. So we'd be back to E minor, C, G, D, E minor, C, G, D, C, G, E minor, D. And then from there, then we'd be going into our last chorus. We'd have our C, G, D, E minor, C, G/F sharp, E minor, C, G, D/F sharp, E minor, and then the very, very end we kind of have a big C chord, big G chord, and then a big D at the very, very end. But that's the basics of how you get strummed through Mean Girls by Rachel Crow. So good luck!